Good morning, everyone. We'd like to thank you on behalf of MDE Lead Poisoning Prevention Program. We would like to welcome you guys to the training for our new online lead rental certification and accreditation database. As many of you know, we're getting ready to transition from paper processes onto a totally online system. And the first step is for you guys to get trained up, for us all to get trained up, and we will be experiencing a transition from the paper processes to the online database very shortly, and we will, advise you guys as information becomes available as the transition continues. So once again, welcome, and we'd like to let you know if you guys have questions, please post them in the questions box. And there's also, we posted the questions from yesterday's session. We had a session yesterday also, and there are questions and responses in the question section for you guys to look at if you wanted to look at it during the training. Some of your questions may have already been answered, and you may find the answers there. So with that being said, we're going to jump right in, and I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Belagala to present and train you guys today. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Michelle. Hello, everyone. My name is Bala, and let me share my screen. I hope my voice is clear and everyone is able to see the screen. And on your screen, you'll see this new online application to handle lead rental certification and accreditation. And right now I'm on the home page. So on this application, there are few menu items. So one is the home page. It will give the brief introduction about the Maryland Department of Environment. And another item on the menu is courses. So if you click on courses, you can get a quick preview of the courses that are scheduled by different training providers related to the lead rental. And other menu item is certificates, and this is not applicable for the audience we have today, so you can skip this. And another menu item is help. So in this menu item, you'll see some topics, how you can create a profile if you are completely new user to this application, like new user in the sense you are completely new to even the lead rental services without any existing licenses. And there are a few other topics like how to reset your password, how to register for training courses. And there are a few other topics where if you own a company, if you are a service provider providing some services related to lead rental, and for your company, how to create a profile. And if you are a self-employed user having your own company, how to create a profile for that. So there are a few important topics which you need to understand and creating the profile. They can be referred through this help. And then we have the login page. If you click on login, you'll see the login page where you'll see the username, password. If you have already created a profile, then you can use those credentials to log into the system. And if you are a user who is completely new to lead rental services, like you don't process any existing training, you don't possess any existing licenses, you are completely fresh to this services, then this is where you register and create your profile. And if you are a user with existing license, like if you have any existing license as an inspector or supervisor, or if you are a company having inspector contractor licenses, if you are any existing business holder with lead rental, you have to click here to set up your profile. So now the workflow which I am going to cover is I'll be creating a profile as an existing inspector. Like I possess some licenses already, and I need to set up a profile in this system. So that is the workflow which I will show here. So what I will do is I will click here on this link. After that, you will land on a page where system will ask if you're an individual with an inspector or supervisor license, or if you're an individual with existing training, you can provide your details here and you can continue to create a profile. If you are a company or a service provider and you possess some existing contracting licenses, you click here in this tab and you can enter your company name and search for your name, and you can continue to create your profile. So right now I will show as an individual. I consider like I'm an inspector with existing licenses and I need to create my profile. So for that, I need to provide my first name. I need to provide my last name. I need to provide my date of birth, and I can provide my existing accreditation number, or I can provide any existing training card number. I can provide any of these two. So I am going with accreditation number. If system is unable to identify you, that they could not find any match with the first name, last name, date of birth, and accreditation number. If you enter those details and search, we will throw a message that we could not find an existing record. So if system is able to identify you, and if you click on search, you will directly land on profile creation page. And here you can see the name, last name, your date of birth. If you have social provided, you'll see your social, and you will see your contact information, and you can see your current address that is there in the system. So if you're landing on this page, it means system is able to identify you using first name, last name, date of birth, and the accreditation number you provided in the previous screen. So now if you see, system is able to identify me. So what I have to do now is I just need to provide the email address. So email address is important. And email address will be your username. Once the profile is successfully created, you have to use your email address as the login ID. So you need to make sure you give the active email which you use. And MDE team will also send some automatic email notifications to this email. So you need to be giving an email which you actively use for creating this profile. So I provided my email address. And if you scroll down, the pre-populated address is from the existing records. And if you think this is incorrect and needs to be updated, you can do it after creating the profile and logging into the system. So once you create the profile and get into the system, you can go to your profile page and then you can update your address. So you just don't need to worry that the address is wrong and you don't want to create a profile. You can continue to do that and you can update it once you log in into the system. So I have provided my email address and then I'll just click on save profile. If the system identifies that the email is not existing and it is unique, then you land on login page with a success message, and system will send an email with a temporary password. So after this, you should be receiving an email with a temporary password to your inbox. So for training purpose, I'll just pull it from the backend and just try to create the profile. So now I'm entering my email address as the username, and I'm entering the temporary password that is sent to my email here, and I click on login. Now, after this, you will land on a reset password page where you need to set up your secure password. So for that, you need to re-enter the temporary password, and then you need to create your secure login password. So for that, you have minimum 8 characters, one upper, one lower, one number, and you must use any of these special characters. So you need to provide a password that satisfies all the minimum requirements, and then click on reset password. Now, if you see, congratulations message will be displayed, and now the system has updated your secure password. So now you have to enter your secure password. So I provided my email address as a username. Now I'm entering my secure password and I'm clicking on login. So if you're getting into this application for the very first time from your laptop or the desktop or the device you're using, application will ask for an OTP. So this OTP, one-time password, will be sent to your email again, and you can look for that OTP password in your email and enter in this OTP box. So for now, I'll just take it from the backend. And if the laptop or the desktop you are using to get into the system is trustworthy and you don't want to enter this OTP again and again, then you have to check this box. So when you check this box and log into the system, if you log out and come back after a day or two, we will not ask for OTP because you already checked this and you logged in for the first time. If you don't check it and log in, when you come back and try to log in, we will ask for OTP again. So the device you're using is trustable. Make sure you check this box and say register. I got a wrong OTP, just hold on a second. Yeah. So once the OTP is accepted, you will land on the dashboard. So by default, you will land on the dashboard and you will see several tiles placed on the dashboard. Like you have a tile that will show the training courses. You have a tile that will show the exams that are scheduled for this rental services. A tile where you can apply for accreditation licenses. And if you already have some saved or submitted applications, you can look at my applications. And if you have any existing licenses, you can look in this tab. In my accreditations, you can look all the existing licenses. And if I'm the user with any active inspector or supervisor license, if system is able to identify me with an active license existing, I will get access to this tab. So if you see inspections and certifications when you log into the system, means system is able to identify that you possess an active inspector or supervisor license. If you don't see this tile on your dashboard, means system is unable to identify you having any active inspector or supervisor license. So this tile will be displayed only if you have the valid license. And then you have a payments tile where you can do any payments on behalf of your client. And if it is not applicable, you can ignore the payments. And on the left menu, you see personal profile and business profile. So if you click on personal profile, you'll see the profile information that was given before. And as I said, you can update the address here. Once you log in, if you think the current address listed here is incorrect, you can always change it and save it. And one important thing you need to notice is you will not be allowed to change your first name, last name, date of birth, and email address in this portal. And if you have any SSN already saved, we will not allow you to change it. So these attributes must be changed only by the MDE team. And if you need them to be updated, you need to reach out to MDE team to get them updated. You cannot change these on your own in personal profile. Only things you can change is your contact information or address information. And you can update your profile picture. And let me go back to the dashboard. If you click on my accreditations, if you want to see if system is able to identify you and if system is able to pull all my existing licenses, you can check here by clicking on select. If you see here, I just created a profile. I did not do anything else, but system is able to identify me and system is able to show all my existing licenses. So I possess one inspector technician and a R&D removal demolition supervisor licenses, and these are my license numbers. So you will be able to see them automatically in my accreditations. And if you need to download your license, a digital certificate icon will be provided. So if I click on this icon, a PDF will be downloaded, and you can open that and you can see your digital license. So this is your digital license. This is to certify that so and so user has met this inspector technician, and this is your expiry date, and who is the training provider, and what is your license number, and when was this approved. So you can get access to your digital certificate anytime by going into this tab, and you can always download your license as needed. And if you see here at a quick preview, you can see your license number, accreditation active start date, and expiry date, and what is the status of your license. So let me go back to the dashboard. So I have shown you my accreditations. And if you have seen, I have one inspector technician and a supervisor licenses. And let's take the scenario where I like to pursue a visual inspector license. So if I an initial license, because I don't have any existing visual inspector, I would like to take an initial visual inspector license. I want to apply for that. So the prerequisites is I need to register for a course, I need to attend the course, I need to register for the exam, I need to attend the exam. Once those two activities are complete, then only I will be able to apply for the license. So first thing I will do is I will go to training courses. I will see, when you click on the tile, you will see all the training provider schedules. So any training provider, when they come to this portal and schedule their courses, those will be listed here for you to check and register. Say now I'm looking for a visual inspector. I would like to see who are all providing the courses for it. So I select that course and say search. Okay, now I see there are uh, there are three training providers that are providing this course. So I will just look for this course. I like the time, the price, everything. I will check, and I think I will register for this. So what I will do is I'll just click on register, and payment related to this course is not handled in the system. If you see here for this course, the price involved is $1,500. So you cannot pay this amount through this system. You have to contact the training provider and complete the payment. Once you complete the payment, they will approve your request. So when you click on register, it's like you are sending an information to that training provider that so and so user is interested to attend the course. So that is all we are doing here. So when the training provider gets into the system, when they open this specific class, they will see that this user has sent a request to attend this course, and they will contact you, or you can contact them and get the payment complete, and they can approve it. So if you click on this tab, My Training, you will see if you have any existing training details, they will be auto-populated. And if you see the last record here, the status pending. So this is the request which I just sent, that I would like to attend this course from this training provider, and the status is pending. So they may contact me, or I may contact them and get the payment done. And once they approve it, this will be changed to approved. So this is how you can come and look at your training. So on the dashboard, you can click on training courses, select, and if you want to look for courses that are available to register, you can go through this list. Or if you want to see your training information, you click on My Training to see your training details. Similarly, I register for the course, and now the next step is I need to register for the exam. So for that, I need to select here. If you select that tile, what will you see is a list of exams that are scheduled by MDE team for third party, and a list of exams scheduled by the MDE team for instructors. So there are two boxes you can see. And here, as I said, I'm interested to take a visual inspector exam. And I like the schedule, I think I can do it. I'll see the exam date and time and address, and then I'll say select. Once you select, you'll land on a page where you'll see the preview of the exam, that this is the exam I'm planning to register. And below that, you'll see the training information that you have. So this is your training details. And for these exams, training is mandatory. So you need to have a training registration. Else, if I don't have any visual inspector training registration and I have only remover and demolition supervisor, if I select the training and if I try to attend a visual inspector exam and say register, we will throw the error that training course is not matching the exam. So you need to select the appropriate training and say register. And if it is successful, you will land on my exams page and you can see if there are any existing exams that you have attended, you will see that list, and you will also see the new exam that you have sent a registration. So this visual inspector is the new line item that have added to my exams list. So if I go back to dashboard, if I want to see all my exams, I'll just go to this select tile, click on my exams, and I can see if there are any existing exams that I have taken or any new exams that I have registered for. You can see all your exam dates and times here. So I'm done with the course, I'm done with the exam, and I'll just show one step that you don't do it. As a training provider, they do it. Assume that uh, the visual inspector course which you have sent a request is approved and you attended the course is completed, and they have generated a training card for you after the course. Then what you will see is like this. So if the training course is complete and once you pass the course and if they have generated you a training card after the course, the portal here will be automatically updating the training card number. And you can see that here. Like there are some other samples here where you can see the expiry date of the training card and the training card number. So these records will populate only when that respective training provider enters the score details and generates a training card for you. Then these records will be updated here. If you think they are not updated in your training card list, you need to reach out to them and say that you did not generate the training card or something which they did not enter in the system for you to enter the generate the training card. So you need to reach out to them if you don't see the training card and you're expecting it to be here. Similarly, for exams, if you go to my exams, assume that the exam is complete. After exam is done, MDE team will give exam score. And once the exam score is provided for you, you will get a new button as pay. If the exam has any amount involved, if you need to see your exam score, you need to do the payment. If you don't do the payment, you will not be able to see your exam score. And this payment button will be active only after the results are updated in the system. So assume that I attended a course and the results are updated, attended the exam, results are updated, and now I want to see my score. So what for that, I will give this example that I want to see the score of this exam, which I have taken. And to see the score, I need to pay $35. So for that, you can just directly click on pay and you'll see which exam and which date and the fee involved in that. And you can click on pay now. You will be directed to a e-payment portal and you will be having options to pay by card or check. So I'll just select card, make payment. And this is a training portal, so you can give just a dummy data. And continue. And then you can review and then confirm. If the payment is successful, you will land on a successful payment page. If you see the payment is successful, and you will see the transaction details here, and these same transaction details will be sent to your email. And now if I go to my exams, you see view score button. Previously it was pay. Now as the payment is successful, you can see your score by clicking here. and you can see the score. So if you need to see your exam score, you need to complete the payment. If there is no fee involved, if you are taking an instructor exam, if there is no fee involved, you don't need to do any payment. Once the score is updated, you will see view score directly here if there is no fee involved. So you'll see the view score or pay only after MDE team updates the results in the portal. So now I register for the course. I spoke to the training provider outside the system. I did the payment outside the system. They approved it. I got the training card. And then I registered for the exam. I paid for the exam. If there is any payment involved, I got the exam score. So these two prerequisites are complete. The next step for me is to apply for a visual inspector license. So for that, I'll click on select here on apply for accreditation. So when you click that, the first page you'll see is this application for a renewal or not? Are you going to apply for renewal? Mine is no. Mine is initial visual inspector. I'll select no. If mine is a renewal, I'll select yes. I'll select no as I'm an initial visual inspector. And then there is a note that added here that if for any accreditation application to submit, SSN or TIN is required. And if this SSN and TIN is not there in your personal profile, system will throw error that there is no SSN added to your profile, you cannot submit application. So you need to make sure that before applying for any accreditation, you need to make sure that your profile has SSN updated and saved. So that is required. So I'll just go back. I just checked, I cross-checked, I have the SSN saved in my profile, so I'm good to go. I just go back to my dashboard. I click on apply for accreditation, select, and now I select this as no because mine is initial. I just click on go. And if you see here, you'll see a new page asking what application type it is. So mine is individual, like Visual Inspector, Inspector Technician, Risk Assessor application. So I select this one. And there are a few others for contractors, training providers, course accreditation, supervisor, instructor. We have different applications accordingly classified here. So I'll select this application. And once that application is selected, the category will be updated, like which category it is. Is it Visual Inspector or Inspector Technician? So mine is Visual Inspector, so I'll select Visual Inspector. And if you scroll down, you'll see for this application, I need to provide who my employer is. So if you select employer, you'll see your employer name. And one important point I need to make here is this employer should be having my name in their employee list. If the employer do not have my name in their employee list, I will not see any employer listed in the dropdown. So if you don't see your employer in this dropdown, means you need to reach out to them and tell to add you as their employee. Else you will not see your employer name here. So this employer has added my name already. So I'll just select my employer. And for this, I need to have training required. So I need to select the training that is appropriate for this application and then proceed. And if I am applying for inspector technician, say for example, I need to add my exams as well. So if you see, if I select the inspector technician, system automatically populates both your training and your exams. And this list, as you see here, is coming from your my training and my exams, from your existing records. You just need to select the appropriate record and proceed. So I'll just continue with Visual Inspector. I will select appropriate training and proceed. I forgot to select the employer, so I'll just select that and then proceed. Once you proceed, you will land on the accreditation application page. You'll see the profile details. So in general application, you'll see all the details, and these are all pulled from your profile directory. So you can verify those details. And if you can scroll down, you'll see application type. Like, do you have an existing license in the same category? No, because mine is initial. And mine is Visual Inspector, and there is a fee involved for this. And if I scroll down, I'll see my training information. And here you see the training details. These are auto-populated based on the selection I did in the previous screen. Similarly, employer details. So I selected my employer and my employer details are populated here. And then if I need to add any documents, I can select here and I can just upload any documents that need to be added to this application. So you can add any number of documents that are required. And then if you scroll down, you have an option that if you're part of a state or local government or a government employee, you can check this box. Total fee will become 0 for the application. If you are not a government employee, there is a fee involved. So, and then I click that all the information that I have provided above is true. So I'll just check this. And two things, like if you think there are some documents that are not added, or if you think there are few other details that are not updated here in the application, you want to come back to this, you can simply save the application. You don't need to continue and submit. You can save your application. Once you save your application, you'll go to your applications page automatically, and you can see the recently saved application here. And I have few other previously submitted, and you can see all the old applications that were submitted. And this is the recent application that I just saved, and the status is in still draft status. So I can log out, I can come back after a day or two, and if I am ready to submit, I'll just log in. I'll go to my applications here, and I will see the application that I have selected. I'll just click on this icon. So when you click on that icon, again, the application page will be populated. And if I need to add something, I can add. And if I'm ready to continue, I click on continue. And you can say yes. After that, you land on a quick review page. You can see and review all the details that are provided. And if you think something is wrong, you need to change something, you can click on edit and go back and change any information that needs to be changed, and then click continue. Again, you land on the review page. And as this application involves fee, you will see continue to payment. Let me show you if you are a state employee. Let me go back and edit the application saying that I am a state employee and there is no fee involved. I'll just select the checkbox and continue. And in the review page, if you see total fee involved is 0, there is no continue to payment button because there is no payment involved. It's direct submit. So for training purpose, I'll show how to do the payment for the application. So I'll just go back and uncheck it and continue. And now I'm ready to do the payment. So I'll click on continue to payment. I will see the application details, a quick preview, my name, my category, and the fee involved. I click on pay now. You'll be directed to the e-payment portal again, and you can do your payment directly here. So I'm just giving some dummy details and confirm. Now the payment is processing, and if it is successful, you'll land on successful page. So payment is successful and everything is clear, and this transaction details will be sent to your email, and you can click on my application. And if you see now, the application status changed from drafted to submitted. Now the application is sent to MDE team for processing. And if you want to see the details of the application, like say if the application is picked up by any user and if they have any questions or comments or any additional documents that need to be submitted for this application, you can always click on this green icon. And when you click on that green icon, you will see a processing box. this box will not be there before you submit. This will be there after you submit. And in this box, you can see if you have any messages from the processor. And if they ask for any additional documents to approve or if they have any questions, they will post here. And if they ask to send more documents, like something is missing in your application, they want some other document. If they sent a request here in the message that you did not add your training card, you did not attach, please attach, then you can come here in this attachment and you can select what you like to attach and you can always upload. So after submitting the application, if you need to attach any document or send any document on request, you can come here into this processing box and you can always attach them. You don't need to again mail and request them to get attached. And I'll just log out. So now the situation is I have submitted my application. And if you see, the status is now changed from submitted to processing, means some MDE team member has picked my application. So my application got assigned to some user to get processed. Then you'll see the status change from submitted to processing. And you can always go and see if they have any questions, did they request any information to approve. You can always come here and see in the message box. And I'll just wait and request my team member if they can just send me any test message to the application. So let me go to my applications. I'll open the application. And if you see now, I got a message from my processor that some information is not attached in the document. So they're requesting me to attach it. So you can always go to attachments, attach it, and come back. And you can also send a message to them that required document is attached, please review. So you can send a response in this message box. So this is how you can communicate with the processor for any missing documentations or questions in this processing box while processing is in progress. So I request my team member Becky, can you approve the application? If I go to my accreditations, you will see that my license is not approved. There is no number generated. It's still not approved. So even in my applications as well, the same thing. Now I see, yeah, it is approved now. So your application is now approved. So if you open the application again, a new button will be added, print certificate. So now as your application is approved, you can print your license by clicking on this button. And same thing, like a PDF will be downloaded. You can open the PDF and now you see this is to certify so-and-so user as a visual inspector. This is my expiry date. These are my training provider details. This is my license number and this is the approval date. So you can access your digital certificate anytime by opening that application. This is one way for you to open the application certificate. Another way is you go to your dashboard, you click on my accreditations, and you can see this new license now got a number and the expiry date, and the status is approved. I can download my digital certificate directly here by clicking on this green icon. So there are two ways for you to access your digital license, by going to my accreditations and clicking on this green badge, or you can go to here in my applications, open your application and access through print certificate. So you have two options to download your certificate, license certificate. So I'll just rewind what I just did. Like as an existing inspector, I hold some existing licenses. So as I hold some existing licenses, I created profile through a different flow here by clicking on this icon. And I created my profile. I logged into the system. And I went to my accreditations. I verified if all my licenses are displayed automatically. And I went to my training course and my training. I verified if all my existing training details are populated here. Similarly, if I have an existing exams, I went here and verified. After that, I plan to pursue a new license. So for that, I registered for courses, I registered for the exams. I completed both of them. Then I went to apply for a license and I applied for the license. And then I checked if there are any messages from the processor while processing my application. And once it is approved, I got my digital certificate. So this is a scenario. These are all the scenarios which an existing license holder can access in this portal and also pursue for future licenses for renewals or even initial. And I will show a different workflow now because so far what we covered is for individual users. Like you are an individual user, you're part of a company and you looked at your profile, you apply for licenses. I will show a workflow if I am a service provider. I own a company and there are multiple employees in my company. I have some existing inspector contractor licenses. So for my company, I have to create a profile. So for that purpose, what I will do is I'll come here on the login page. I will click here and I'm a service provider now. I am no more individual. So I will click on service provider and I need to give my company name. You can give part of your company name and search. Say if system is unable to identify, they'll say no results found. And if system is able to identify the name of my company, let me just remove this and search. You will see your company name listed. And if the name matches, you can select that name and proceed. And if you see here, for this company, there is already a profile created. So if there is any profile that is having authorization to manage this business in this system already, you will get this message. So if you see there is already a HR profile created to manage this business, that is why system is throwing a message that there is already a profile that is created. You want to create another profile to manage or authorize or to manage your business. So if you think you want to create a profile for another employee, like a manager or a senior manager or a director of your company, who should also have their own profile and who should also have the authorization to manage your business, you can click on proceed. And if there is no existing authorized user, you will not get this message. You directly land on the profile page, on this page. And if you see there is a note added, right now what you're doing is you're creating a authorized user profile to manage my company. So I'll just give some details of the authorized user. Says the process is the same. So I'm creating a profile for all my organization manager. And if my mailing address is same as above, I can check this. So details will be auto-populated. If it is different, I can uncheck and enter a different address. And then save profile. Now my email address is registered. I'll get a temporary password, but for now I'll just do it from the backend. So once I get the email, I'll just enter my email address here in the username and I'll enter the temporary password. And now I will set up my secure password. Once the secure password is registered, I will now log in with my secure password. And as I'm logging into the system for the very first time, I will get an OTP to my email. So I'll just pick that OTP and I'll say, yes, I trust this device, and then register. Now, what I did is, if I click on business profile for this service provider, I created a profile to manage the business of this service provider. But I will not have the rights yet, because you need to send a request to MDE team that you created a profile on this name and on this email address, and you need to request MDE team to give the authorization to manage this business. Until MDE team cross checks with you and confirms and approve, you are not yet authorized to manage this business. Manage the business in the sense, you cannot see if that company has any existing licenses. You cannot see if there are any existing applications. You cannot apply for renewals or licenses for the contractor. So you cannot do anything. You cannot even go and change the profile information of this business. So only thing, only when MDE team approves it, when you send a request to approve, once it is getting approved, then only you'll have all the rights. So I'll ask team member Becky to approve it. So I'm requesting MDE team that I have created a profile to manage this business. Could you please approve? So once it is approved, you have to just log out and log into the system. And as it is approved, I will have access to few additional tiles here. You see, manage employees, manage locations. If you are a training provider, you have manage classes. So these three tiles will be displayed on your dashboard only when you have that authorization approved. Previously, you didn't have these on your dashboard. So once you get that approved, you can manage the employees of the organization. You can add or change the locations of the organization. And if you're a training provider, you can schedule classes here. And if I go to business profile, and if I click on edit or view, I will have access to change, update the company profile details. So everything can be edited. I have all the rights now because I got the authorization to manage this business. And now if I click on my accreditations, you see, I got two records. So this organization has licenses. Previously, I don't have access to this information because I'm not authorized to do anything for this service provider. Now, once I get the authorization approved, I can see what licenses this provider possesses, and I can even pull out the digital certificate for that organization. By clicking on that green badge, I can download PDF and see that this organization has this license. So this is how you have access to all the information of that organization once it is approved. You can see what applications were submitted, what are approved, what are pending. So all these details will be available for you. And if you click on manage employee, if this organization has any existing employees, they will be auto displayed here. And if you think there are some employees that are no more with the company and you need to terminate them, you can always click on edit or view and you can terminate. Or if you see here, this user and this user, they have the authorization to take corporate actions. So if you think some user should not have those rights anymore, you can always open that record and uncheck it and update. So this is how you can manage your employees. And if you need to add a new employee, that there is a new user who got the license and they want to be part of your company and you want to add them as your employees, you can click on add employee and you can search using their license number, or if they have a profile, you can search using their email address. If they exist in the system, you will see the name populated. See, so this profile already exists, and This is a new employee as a supervisor, and this employee should not have any authorization to manage my licenses or apply on behalf. So I will not check this. I will just say save. And I need to select which company. So I just select from the drop down and then save. So if you see, I added a new employee to my list, and this employee is having no authorization. And if this employee has any license numbers and what license they possess, you will see those details here. Like you see, there is an employee with these licenses and these are their license numbers. So this is how you can manage your employees. Similarly, if you click on manage locations here, you'll see if there are any existing locations added to your company profile, you'll see them. And if you think something is wrong, this is no more valid, you can just delete it. And if you need to add any new location to this organization, you can click on add new location and you need to select for which provider, attention off. You can add the location details and save. So you can add all the locations related to your employer. And if you are a training provider, you can add all the training locations that are applicable here and then go to dashboard. So now, as I'm authorized, I could view the licenses of the service provider. I can view the employees. I can manage their locations. Now I'll show, I can even apply for accreditation. So if I click on apply for accreditation, if I want to renew any license, I can just click yes, and I can select, okay, so I'm applying for a contractor accreditation. So I'll click on contractor. And which category is it? Structure steel? Okay, structure steel. And which organization it is, who is the service provider. So you need to enter the service provider name. And if you see, system will show you a list once you enter few letters of your company name. And you will see only the employer you are part of. If you enter some other company name, system will not populate. System will populate only the service providers you're eligible to select. For the provider you are authorized to apply. So I am authorized to manage business for this service provider. So that is why when I entered org, I got that name. So if I'm not part of that company and if I enter, you will not see to proceed. So as you are authorized for this company, you can select and proceed. And you can see the service provider details will be populated. And these will be again coming from the business profile of this service provider. And then if you scroll down, I said this is a renewal. So if it is a renewal, we'll auto display yes, and we'll auto display the accreditation number, existing license number, and expiry date. And if you scroll down, you'll see the category, structural steel contractor. And the list of employees will be auto displayed. So this list is coming from your manage employee tile. So whoever you have in your manage employees, whoever you have added there will be auto displayed here. And if you think some of them should not be part of this application, you can simply delete them from this application. And then if you scroll, there is option, means all these details are from the existing application paper. We just digitalize the same sections. So you can select yes or no for public listing. And you have the region which you serve, you can select. And then if you have any documents, you can select and upload. And if you are a state employee or a self-employed, the fee will be 0. If you are none, there is a fee involved. And then who is the representative submitting the application? You enter the name. And HR, and then you agree and submit. So this is how you create a profile for a service provider, get the authorization approved, and then start managing the corporate actions through this dashboard. So now I'll take a quick pause here, and one important item for you is each tile has a help. And if you want to know how to apply for accreditations, you click on this help button. You will be taken to a new page with all the topics related to that specific tile. If you want to know how to apply for individual accreditation or a contractor, you can click on that specific topic and a PDF will be generated, and you can always refer this PDF, download and print, and you can always come here and refer those help files. So every tile, based on the functionality they have, you will have those topics. Like if I click on manage locations help, I'll see only the topic related to this tile. So each tile has a help button. You can always refer those buttons to understand what that tile is meant for, the functionality inside that tile. All right, so I think we can take a quick pause and start taking some questions.
Okay, Bala. First question, what if you have subcontractors performing the work? Can I check their status? And this person would be a government employee and have subcontractors working for them.
Subcontractors, if,
Accredited subcontractors.
so they should be to review their work means here I am not doing any work yet. Are you talking about inspection schedules and certificates?
I think they're talking about their accreditations.
If they are part of your employee list, you can view their accreditations. Yes, you can always go and view their accreditations if they are part of your employee list.
Okay. Next question. Can I just register for a course through a training provider and then upon completion of the course input my information to the system?
So only training provider, what you have to do is if you already attended a course from a training provider, you need to ask the training provider to, we already gave the training for them. So they have to come to their portal, log into their profile, and they have to schedule the classes. So we allow to backtrace for a few days. They can schedule the class. Then you have to go to training courses. You do the registration and they can go and update the score. So for any course that is complete, you have to mimic them in the profile. And for any future classes, we always suggest to do through this portal. Even for the training providers or the students who are pursuing, we suggest always to schedule classes in this portal, and we always suggest the students to register through this portal, because if you don't have the right training information in the portal, you will not be able to link them to your application.
Okay, next question. Concerning the application section, what if you are a subcontractor and work with many other providers / companies? Will one be able to update the employer section with all the company names you sub for?
No, it should be the other way around. If you are working for 3 different companies, you need to let those companies add your name to their employee list. You cannot add employer to your profile. Only employer can add their employees to their profiles. So you need to request them to add your name to their employee list.
Will we get an email message sent that we need to upload a document? This is referring to in the accreditation messaging section.
Yeah, right now you don't have auto email notification. You always have to come and refer your application. Maybe in future we can add that facility that you'll get an email notification that there is a new message and so and so application, but right now we don't have that in place yet.
I log into my account. It's asking me to pay again. I think we'll have to work on that one on a sidebar. You can contact us. It shouldn't ask you to pay when you logged in. It should be, that should only come up when you're submitting an application. Can a company search my information thinking I'm an employee? That's a good question.
Your information means they can see only your name and license number. Nothing else will be revealed, even you're an employee.
So what happens if they add them to their employee list? Does she get notified?
Not right now. We are not sending any notifications.
Okay. I don't know why somebody would want to add you as an employee if you're not, though. So,
And they cannot even view any other details except the license number.
right. Which is also available to public. Okay, how do we notify for the first authorized user? It said my account was already in use when I tried to add it.
So if your account is already in the use, means your email address is already in the system. So if your email address is already in the system, I assume you already created your profile. So if you don't remember your password, you just click here and enter your email address and get a new temporary password. So if your email address is already in the system, means I don't know if you already created it.
How do
So
we
please,
know?
yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Bala.
How do we notify for the first authorized user? So it's not like any authorization that is happening in this portal is only on approval from MDE. So there is no existing authorized users yet. So the example I showed during training is to tell you that if somebody already created an authorized profile, and if someone else is also trying to do the same, you'll get an intimation that you already have one profile to manage the business. You want to do one more. That is the only message, warning message for the service provider. And I just want to repeat again, if your account is already in use, means you already created a profile. So you better reset your password and try to get into the system.
Okay, let's try one hand raised. Norman R, if you would unmute yourself, you should be able to ask a question. Norman Rosenzweig, do you wish to answer a question? You have to unmute the red microphone above the orange arrow or below the orange arrow. There you go.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm okay. Nothing at the moment. Thank you.
All right, so let me take some other question, Becky, then. Can you review how to change personal profile to business profile? So I will just confirm. When I log in, personal profile is for the user who created the profile. Right? I'll have the person who created the profile, their name. It's about the person who created the profile. Business profile is for the company, for any organization. So this is not a specific person, it's the organization that got registered. And if you go to business profile and if you have any existing business authorized, you'll just click on edit or view. And if you click this, you will see the business profile details, like what is the company name, EIN number, SDAT number, company address and all. So business profile is completely different to personal profile. They are not together, they are separate. And if you don't have any existing business, if you're a completely new, like you're a new user and you want to be self-employed and the business is not yet licensed, you're someone afresh and you're pursuing something new for your future, you can always click on add new business and enter your business details. So it's just like you enter your LLC details, that's all. But that LLC is not yet accredited. So you will not have all the rights to do or provide your services. It's just a profile that you have added to your login session, that's all. So personal profile and business profile, they are not linked together, they're separate. So if my address is wrong in MDE system, I cannot change it. How is this can be updated? So as I said, you can go to personal profile and update the address information. Same thing with the business. If your organization or service provider has a wrong address, you can always go to business profile and change it. So this is how you can update your business address. And do you have to use one of the training providers that are on your website? So Becky, you'd like to answer that question. Do you have to use one of the training providers that are on your website? Like which website?
If they're not on our website, then they're not accredited to provide Maryland training. So yes, you would have to use one of the trainers on our website.
A training provider conducts training at our office for our employees only. How will this course be posted on MDE website? So as I said, if a training provider is conducting courses for your own employees and they don't want to conduct this for any other requests, so I'll just, I don't know if I can really show, any request that is sent for attending a course must be approved. So if they see any other requests received, your employer will not approve them. They'll just leave those requests. They will approve only the requests that are part of their employees. So training providers, they have the rights to control who should attend, who should not attend. So whoever is sending a registration request doesn't mean it's they're ready to attend the course. So it's the training provider's discretion to take a decision. Next, a training provider conducts training at our organization. Will this system be used to generate certificates? Yes. So that is a session I'm going to show next. I might have missed something because one of my certifications are showing. So just send a request. We'll see if you have created it right or if there is any other duplicate profile which we need to merge. We'll take care of that. Just send an email. How do I update my home address? So I show how to update the address. I created an account on my lead inspector and visual inspector certifications are not appearing. So if they are not appearing, please send out an email request. We'll cross check and identify. They will not take time to appear. If they are identified, they will come automatically. You don't need to wait for any time. There is no lag. Will business and personal be the same for a single person? See, if you're self-employed, then you are a single person with your own business. So there is only one profile, your personal profile, that will have the authorization to manage your business. If you are just an employee and business or the employer is different, then both will have their own profiles. You will have your own profile and business, the service provider will have their own authorization profile to manage their business. When the system goes live with existing information already in the system. So as I said, when you create profile through the link I showed for any existing users, so the user which we identified will be auto displayed here. So all the licenses of that user, all the applications, as I mentioned, will be auto displayed once you create the profile. But you need to make sure you create the profile using the link below for existing users, not directly from the register button. So one other, I think I have answered all the questions I could see, and there are some hands raised. We'll answer some and then we'll proceed.
How about Shanika Frazier? Go ahead, you can unmute yourself, Shanika.
Thank you. I think my question was asked, but I need clarity on the answer. So if I am the local government and we have contractors, subcontractors with their own businesses, my question is, will I be able to see their accreditations because they're not working for me, they're not my employee, we're subbing with their contractors. So will I be able to, if I have like 10 different businesses, be able to see all of the accreditations for their employees?
Bala, are you taking that?
I think I'm talking on mute, sorry. So yeah, if you have a subcontractor working for you and you will not have access to their employee list.
Mm.
You can see only the employees that you have in your contractor profile. All right, I think Rebecca, do you have a question? Rebecca Fraser? All right, I will go with Guillaume D. Decker. Please ask your question.
Okay. Oh, here we go. Good morning. My quick question: when the system will be available to create a login and the profile? Will we get a link to do that, or how is it going to work?
So you'll be getting information from the department soon about when the go live date is. It's going to be early December. We've shared earlier and we'll share again toward the end of the session, a URL that you can get in there now. It's a testing mode. So everyone can go in and create profiles and try things. You will have to do that again when we go live, though. This is a testing.
Oh, I see.
It's only in testing, but feel free to go in and play around.
And Becky, who should they reach out to if they don't see their accreditations list?
I think they should send an email to the mde.lpp@maryland.gov.
Okay. All right.
And we will try to get back to everyone as quickly as possible, but as you can probably figure out, we're having webinars and transitioning ourselves. But please, send an email and we'll try to get it resolved for you.
All right. So now we will move on to the next topics. So what we are going to cover now is how to schedule inspections, how to generate inspection certificates, and how to attach different forms or documents to those certificates, and how to print those inspection certificates. So here I'm logging in as an inspector. So I have an existing license, and say an owner reached out to me to do an inspection. So for that, what I will do is I'll log into the system and I will click on this tile, inspections and certifications. And if I click here, if I have done any previous inspections, they will be listed here directly on this page. And right now what I'm trying to do is schedule a new inspection. So for that, I click on schedule inspection. Once you do that, you'll get into a page where a system will ask for which property is this inspection being scheduled. So address number and street name are required. Rest of the fields are optional for the search. So right now, I'll just try to enter a part of address number and street name and click on search. So based on your search input, system will be able to pull out all the property information that is existing. So I just entered a 1-digit address and a address street name, so I got a big list. So if I'm able to identify the unit, the owner, or the property number from this list, you can select it. Or if you want to change the filter criteria and you would like to add more, you can add more and search again. So for training purpose, what I'll do is I'll just select one property, which I think is the right one. And I think, say, I have reached out by Georgetown here. I need to do an inspection on this property. I'll select that property and I'll just scroll down to click on add inspection. So right now I search for the property which I need to schedule inspection. I selected that property, and when I click on add inspection, you will land on inspection schedule page, and here you can see the address that I have selected. And if you scroll down, you'll see a section mismatch section. So this section is required for the inspector to provide details, like if the owner name is wrong in our records, if the street name is incorrect in our records, you can select that. And I can say that if there is no mismatch, if every detail that you have seeing here is accurate, you can say no mismatch. And if you think street name is misspelled, instead of a road, it should be so like avenue, something like that, you can select what mismatch it is and you can provide your notes. So I'll just select no mismatch, and then if you scroll down, who is your service provider? So I'll see my employer list. So I'll select the employer, and then inspection type. You'll see lead-free, full risk reduction, modified risk, risk assessment, clearance, lead safe. And you'll see 4 more, which are legacy, and we'll be removing them during live. So you're not allowed to select any of the legacies. You just select the one from here. So for now, let's say full risk reduction and inspection date, say 30th November, 12 o'clock. And if you have any contact person details, you can enter and then say schedule inspection and say yes. Now you will land back onto the home page, and on the top of the list, you'll see this new inspection that you have scheduled. 325463 is the new inspection schedule ID, and you'll see the quick preview of the address, who is the service provider, inspector, type of inspection, date, and the inspection status. Say if the owner has reached out to you to change the inspection date, or maybe you want to change the date and time, you can always click on this ID to reopen that inspection, and you can always change the inspection date if it is rescheduled and say update. And if you see here, when I open my inspection that is scheduled, you can see the service provider details, you can see the inspector details, and you can see the property, you can see the previous details that were entered and saved. And if you scroll down, if this inspection has any certificates added, you'll see them here. If there is any statement of works of that property, you'll see them here. So you can see additional sections that get populated when you reopen that inspection schedule ID. And right now I'm just changing my inspection date and time, and I'm just updating. And you can also cancel the inspection if it is not valid anymore. So right now I'm just updating it and saving it. So now I have just updated my schedule. Assume that inspection is done. I went to the property, the inspection is complete, everything is good to go. I'm just covering a happy path scenario where the inspection is successful and I just need to enter the certificate details and add the form information. So for that, I'll just reopen this schedule ID. Assume the inspection is complete, everything is good. My work is now to generate that certificate, inspection certificate. So I'll just click on add certificate. You will land on a page where you'll be asked what method and what is the status. So you can select dust inspection, or if you select with exterior waiver, system will be asking you to enter the reinspection date if you select this method. And if it is a lead-free exterior, nothing will be asked. Additional information is not required. So I'll just select a test inspection method and say this is passed. This inspection is passed. I will select passed, and I will just certify the information I have provided here is true, and that I have inspected this property on this so and so date and time, and save. Yes. Now a new certificate number will be generated. You see a new certificate number is added here. And if you see the property details, you will see the inspection category, the method, the status of the certificate. And if you scroll down, you'll see new sections. Like you have a document upload section where you can select all the document types and upload them. Form selection section. You can add all the forms that are required to be added to this certificate. And if this property has any existing statement of work, they will be displayed here. If there are no existing statement of work for any property, you'll see them as no forms. Actually, the list of forms and SSWs, the section you see here, are the forms and documents that are attached to this certificate. So right now, I just generated the certificate. I did not add any documents. I did not add any forms. That's why the list is empty. And if this property has any existing Form Gs, if the property has any existing statement of work, they will be displayed here automatically so that you can select and assign them to the certificate. So right now, what I did is I just scheduled an inspection. I updated this inspection. Then I conducted the inspection. I generated a certificate. Now the next job is to attach all the documents. So first thing is I'll just upload a diagram of unit. I choose the file, randomly select one and say upload. Similarly, you can add any other lab results. So you can choose the appropriate document type and upload. And the next step, say I need to add Form B. So I'll select Form B and say add form. And you reconfirm it. You will land on Form B page. And as I said, it's just a digital version of the existing details, the paper form. So if you scroll and you'll see part 1 detail section, part 2 detail questions. So you just enter, for training purpose, I enter some random data. And in treatment section, you need to answer yes or no. And if you have any comments to make, you can add the comments for Form B. And you can certify the information you provided here is true and select the date and time. And if you save, a system will throw a validation error because if you answer no to any of these treatment questions, a reason is required. So if I just click save form, you'll get a validation that you need to provide a reason for no. So for any question that is answered no, you need to give the reason and then save. So once I save it, I will land back on my certificate page. And if I scroll down, I see the previously added documents. And if you see here, a new form is added in this list of forms. So this certificate got a new form added to it. And if I need to change or if I need to delete, I can do it. Or if I need to update something, you can click on this view or update. And if I need to change some reason or comment, or you can do all the changes and save. So now I'm done adding Form B. Say I need to add Form C. So let me just do that and click on add form. You will go to the Form C page, and similar to the existing paper, you will see, okay, part 1, is it yes, yes or no? I am just selecting. And if you answer yes to exterior waiver, you need to provide the reinspection date and who approved it. So these two will be populated if you answer yes to this question. If it is no, you don't need to provide those details. And then is it a retest of fair room? Yes or no? You can select. And then if you have any blank sample information, you can provide those details. And these blank samples are not required. So if you have that information, you can provide that. And if you scroll down, there is a room information section that needs to be added to Form C. And one thing I need to mention is if you don't have the details now itself, you want to come back and add room information. You can always save. You can, but you need to certify the Form C and save it without adding room information. So I need to provide some required field details, date of lab report and received by the inspector. So I select some random dates and I say save the Form C. Now I will land back on my certificate page. I have Form C added to my certificate, but I did not add any room information yet. So I can always go back, reopen my form, and I scroll down and say now I am ready to add form room information. So what I will do is I'll start entering the room details. Say kitchen 0, 1, and based on the values you enter here, the total will be auto calculated. And if you have the room sample number details, you just enter those details. And the result you need to select whether it is less than some number or is it equal to some number. So based on your selection, the meet standard will be auto displayed. So if it is less than 9, say it is yes. So if you select something like equal to say 10, so it is no. So the meet standard will be auto displayed based on what you select here. And now I will enter some random sill sample. And if you see here, total samples collected, number 2. I have given for floor and sill, that's why it's auto calculated as 2. If I enter the well sample as well, you'll see the total sample changing to 3. So based on how much you enter here, this will be auto calculated again. So for now, I just enter these two and say, I can add some comments to this room if need, and then say add room. Yes. Now on Form C, a new room is added. You can always reopen that room and change it by clicking on edit, or you can always delete and add one more. So you can always change by clicking edit. Right now I'll add one more room just for training. Say living room. And add, yes. So I added one more room to Form C. So I'm done adding all the rooms. I'll just save. Yes. I'll go back to my certificate page. I can see the documents attached. I can see the forms that are added to this certificate and inspection schedule. And one important point I would like to mention is once you add the minimum required documents to this certificate, then only this button will be activated. If you don't add the minimum required documents to a certificate, this will not be displayed. As I have added the minimum required documents, I could see this button to generate my inspection certificate. So if you click on this button, a PDF of the inspection certificate will be downloaded, and I can see the digital form of the certificate. So you can see the property details, the inspection category, inspection method, inspection status. If there is any reinspection, that information will be displayed, and when it is certified, who is the service provider and who is the inspector. And if I open Form C, I just quickly saw a question. So the room name is not pre-populated. You can enter any value in the room name. So it's not a pre-populated dropdown. So just clarifying, I just saw the question. Okay. So now I'm done scheduling inspection. I'm done generating the inspection certificate. I'm done uploading the documents, adding the forms. I'm done generating the inspection certificate. The next point is I would like to mention here is if I need to add any statement of work to my certificate, if statement of work is required as a supporting document to my certificate, I should be able to see them here if they exist for my property, for the property which the inspection is scheduled. If this property has any existing statement of works, they will be displayed here. But right now I see none. There is no statement of work for the property, but I need it to attach to the certificate. So what you have to do is you have to reach out to the owner, ask them to get to your supervisor, get the supervision done, and get an SSW for their property. So once they complete that, that will be displayed here to select and assign to your certificate. You can select that SSW and assign to this list. So that I will show how to do it. So let me just take a note of the property because it should be matched to the exact property. It should not be to a different property to see it here. I'll just take a record of it. Georgetown. So I'll just log out. Assume inspector, assume that owner has reached out to a supervisor. And now supervisor has to add a statement of work. So what supervisor will do? Supervisor come to the system, log into their profile. They will go to this inspection certifications. They have only one button. As a supervisor, only thing they can do is add SSWs. So they'll see only SSWs and they can see any existing SSWs if they have added, they can see in the list. And now they got a new request. So they'll click on add SSW. They'll search for that specific property. So I'll just see if it puts out. So this is the one. So I select it. So I identified the property for which I need to give the supervisor statement of work. And if you see from the results, this address here, based on the selection I do, it will be auto-populated for the supervisor statement of work. So I select this property and now I'll add when is this supervision done. So all the details needs to be provided. And then all the who is the service provider. So you'll see the employer of that supervisor to select. And then you select all the required options. And one thing same for supervisor, if they select not applicable, reason is required. So I am providing a reason and save. Now I have added a supervisor statement of work for the property that was I supervised upon the request of the owner. So I'm done as a supervisor. So let's see what inspector can see for that property. Let me open that. If you see, this is the inspection I did. And once I added the certificate on my home page, you see that certificate number and status added here automatically. So on your home page, as an inspector, I can see my certificate here and the status of the certificate and status of the inspection here. I can go to the certificate page directly by clicking on this button. So I'll just click on this certificate number. I will land on the certificate page. I can see the documents that are attached, forms that are attached. And if you see here, available SSWs. A SSW is auto-populated here for that property because supervisor owner has contacted a supervisor and got that done. Now you could see it. Now what is your job is to select that and assign. Once you do that, SSW is added to this list. Previously we had only form BC, now SSW is added to the list. So this is how you can add existing statement of works, existing form Gs to your certificate. You can add all the forms by selecting a respective form and add to the certificate and upload all the documents that are required to the certificate. So this is how you schedule an inspection, and I'll click on inspection home. So I scheduled 325463 inspection for this property. After inspection, I added a certificate that got passed and then I added all the forms. When I click on certificate number, I will land on certificate page where you can see the documents attached to the certificate. Let me go to my home page. If I click on the inspection ID, I will land on the inspection schedule page. And if I scroll down, I will see, okay, for this inspection, what certificate is added, and for this certificate, which forms are added. I can see a quick preview at a inspection schedule level, not at the certificate level. Like for this inspection, I have one certificate added. And if I want to know more details about the certificate, I can click this button and go to the certificate page. And you see what forms are added to that certificate. Okay, this certificate got B, C, and SSW. And are there any existing SSWs for this property? You can see. So this is a quick high-level preview at inspection schedule level. And if you want to see at certificate level, you just click on that certificate and see the documents at certificate level. So what forms are added, and you can open each form and review. I will cover one more flow before we take questions and end the session. I scheduled inspection, I added certificate that is passed, everything is a happy path. Let me just try to create one where inspection is failed. Let me just give say I want to do for this. So I select the property, schedule, everything is good, there is no mismatch. I select my employer, select my inspection, say I'll do lead free, and I'm doing on 23rd and schedule. Yes. So 325465 lead free inspection is scheduled. So no certificate added, it's just scheduled. Now say I went to the property, inspection is done, and it is a failure. So what I will do is I can add a certificate. Say I did a one-time only lead free, and it is a fail. And how many preloaded units? If you have any number, you can give and certify and save. Yes. So you generated a certificate number that is failed, a one-time method lead free. And if you have any documents that need to be added to this failed certificate, you can add all the documents. And then if I need to add lead free inspection form, I will select form E and add. You land on form E page. So here you need to mention how many units this certificate applies to. 0, 1 units it is applied, and server is only one unit, and number of policies are 1. Any extra or readings, you need to provide all these existing fields, so there are nothing new. And did you choose one time or limited? So I did a one time. If it is limited, you need to provide the reinspection date. If it is one time, that is not required. And then you need to provide all the other required details. And is it factory applied coatings? Yes or no? And then you certify the date and time and save. Yes. So now form E is saved. Let me go to the certificate. See, form E is saved to the certificate, but this is failed. So say after a few days you want to do a reinspection. So if you see on your home page, this inspection is completed, but it is a failed certificate. You need to do a reinspection. What we have to do is you can open this same existing schedule, scroll down and say add reinspection. So you can schedule the reinspection. So what you will see is when you do that, a new schedule is added. 325466 is a reinspection of this original inspection. You see this? So 325465 is the inspection that got failed. And this is a reinspection of that original inspection. So once you do the reinspection schedule, you can open that. And if it is a pass, you can add a new certificate to this reinspection. So that is how you generate a new certificate again for the reinspection and say now it is passed. And then you can add all the required documents to this new pass certificate. You can always add everything. And as you see, for this certificate, the print icon is not active because you're not done adding the minimum required documents or forms. Only when the minimum required documents are attached and added, then only you will have access to print certificate. So let me go to inspection home. And if you see, this is the reinspection I did on this property. This is the certificate number and this is passed. And this inspection is a reinspection of this parent inspection. You can see those details here. At a quick preview, you can see everything on this grid. So this is the original inspection, which is nothing but this line item, and that has a certificate that got failed. And one more important item is if you open your reinspection schedule, as I said, this is a high level preview, right? If you scroll down, you can see that there are two certificates for one schedule and one schedule. And this is the original one that got failed. And this is a new one that got passed. So you can see all the consolidated information on this reinspection schedule. So you can see all the details and what forms are added. If you see here, this certificate got the form E, but this new pass certificate, you did not add anything yet. So those are pending. So you can see at a high level what all forms, what documents are added to this certificate. So if you need to add anything, you can just click on that certificate and add all the documents that are required for that certificate, and then you're done. Similarly, if you need to add Form D, like as I said, what I just did is I did a reinspection and then I added a new certificate. You can also do one thing, like there are scenarios where you will add only Form D to existing certificate. So what in that scenario, what you will do is you'll open the reinspection and you will not add a new certificate in that scenario. You will not add a new certificate like this. What you will do is you will open your existing failed certificate and then to existing list of forms, you just add a Form D. So you'll end up adding Form D details to that existing failed certificate and save it. So you are not required to generate a new certificate. You can just add Form D to that existing failed certificate. And if you need to change the status, you can always change it for that existing certificate and update. So for re-inspections, there are two things like you re-inspect and add a new pass certificate, or if it requires Form D, you go back to your original failed certificate and add a Form D. So this is how you handle re-inspections. So one last item is abatement notifications. If you are a service provider doing any abatement projects, you click on abatement notifications and you click on add abatement, and then you look for the property for which you need to add this project. You select the property for which you are doing the abatement project. So if you select, the address will be populating here, and you provide all the abatement project details. And who is doing the project? You select that employer and add the scope of work and save the project. So it's a simple activity, adding project notifications. Once you do that, that notification will be added to your list, and you can click on this number icon and always change the schedule. If you think it's a different completion date, you can always update and save. So you can always click on these IDs and update the information. So I'll go to inspection home. So what I just showed is I showed how to schedule inspection, how to add a certificate, how to add documents to a certificate, how to print that certificate, and then how to add statement of work as a supervisor. And then I did a re-inspection and I added a new certificate and I added a Form D to existing certificate. So you can do other way around as needed. And then I added the project notification. So these are all the activities this tile handles, where you schedule inspections and generate the certificates. And on the grid, you see this notification labs, right? If you schedule any inspection for today, because 24-hour notification is mandatory, and if you schedule an inspection only for this evening and you are going to do that inspection, that flag is set as yes. So if you schedule any inspection within 24 hours and you want to conduct that inspection in the 24 hours, based on that inspection date and time, this labs will be set as yes or no. So this is just an indication. It will not stop you to do anything. You can even schedule inspections down after 6 months, or you can do it immediately. System will not stop you to do that. But only thing is, if you do it immediately within 24 hours, we will just set a flag that there is a lapse. So that is just the information for MDE team to identify the lapses. So I will stop here and I conclude today's session, and we'll start taking questions and we'll see how we can answer them. So let's start with hands that are raised, or you want to go through the list of questions, Becky?
Are there any hands raised?
I
Let's see. Let's see if we can answer a couple of hands raised, and then we'll go to the list. How about Rebecca Fowler? I think hers was up for a while. Rebecca, you're on. Whoops. Wait a minute. Rebecca, you're unmuted. You can unmute yourself.
Thanks very much. Can you hear me all right?
No, you need to speak up, please.
Okay, sorry about that. I didn't want to yell.
Yeah, that's better.
I just wanted to double check. I caught the tail end of yesterday's call, and I just wanted to confirm my understanding. What's being displayed is a test environment, and we can go in and create login user IDs, but we will have to do that again once the environment is released, like in a live production manner, correct?
That's right.
That is correct.
Okay. And I think you said it was early December when it's going to be live, and we will get a communication to that effect to the same email address that we receive our other notifications from MDE.
Yes, that's correct. And also you can check our website too, because we'll probably, put a link up there that it's live, and
And that's just in the inspector contractors area of the page.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Oh, I did have one more. I apologize. I think somebody answered it, but once these certificates are issued within this system, we're done at that point. Like the owner will be notified, and we don't have to provide them like a copy of the certificate any longer.
No, owner will not be notified. It is your responsibility to download that PDF and send by email or by mail or hand it over. It's your responsibility. And I would like to mention one thing, Becky, about the lead-free certificate to everyone. Lead-free certificate involves payment. So if you are doing any lead-free inspection, if you have any certificate generated, say for example, more than one unit or say 5 units together for that specific certificate, you need to inform your owner to go to this portal, create a profile, and they have to go to this payments, and they have to click on lead-free certificates. They have to enter the certificate number which you will give them, for which they have to do the payment. Once they enter the certificate number and search, they will see the property details, the inspector details, and the service provider details, and they can see how many units the certificate applies to. And if they scroll down, they will see how much amount they need to pay. So as this is only for 1 unit, it's only $10. If there are 2 units, there will be 10 into 2, $20. And they can click on pay button and complete the payment. Once it is paid, the status will change to paid. So the example I'm showing you is a paid lead-free certificate. And until the owner or whoever is responsible for the payment of this lead-free certificate completes it, the print certificate will not be activated for lead-free. So if you remember, in your inspection certificate, if you open any certificate, you will not see print certificate for a lead-free until the payment is done. You can do on behalf of your client or owner, it's up to you, or you need to inform the owner to come to this system and do the payment for that specific certificate. So this is one thing I would like to mention. So we'll go back to the Q&A. So there are a few hands raised. So I don't know the order. I think it's Jessica first. Jessica Ross.
Hello, my question is, do we still have to keep paper copies of the certificates for 5 years?
Becky, would you like to answer? I don't know if you're on mute, Becky.
I would recommend you keep paper copies for a little while. We'll provide some guidance on that after we go live.
All right, next question, Shineka Fraser. Shineka Fraser, sorry if I pronounce your name incorrectly. Shineka?
Yes. I was wondering for like the local government, in terms of scheduling, are the local government's vendors supposed to fill out that, the schedule?
I think it doesn't matter who does it. If you need to schedule inspection and generate an inspection certificate, you need to come to this portal and do it. I'm not sure if there is
Bala, I think in this particular case, is the government agency actually issuing the certificates? If not, then the subcontractor needs to send in the notification. Because that's going to be linked, who's the contractor issuing the certificate. That's who the inspection notification is going to be linked to.
All right. Next question is from Matthew Knight. Matthew, please go ahead.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
So the one question I put in the chat, but my lab provides the Form C already filled out. I noticed that you have a selection there to fill out the Form C manually.
Yeah.
Will I be able to upload that along with my test results, my lab results, and will that satisfy the program so that I can generate the certificate?
No, it won't. You have to re-enter that Form C digitally to activate that print button. And Becky, I don't know if you wanna, if you don't want to enter all the details, Becky, is it okay if they can attach that Form C and add a dummy Form C with minimum information?
No, they need to enter all the details.
Okay.
One of the reasons for this system is because right now we don't get the details. People, especially with those pre-lab filled out ones, don't seem to fill in all the spaces that are required. So No, you'll have to fill out the Form C
All right.
online.
Next question. Yeah, sorry.
Sorry.
Next question is from Neil Moore. Go ahead, Neil Moore. I think you're self-muted.
I'm sorry. I didn't unmute myself. First of all, the program looks actually pretty cool. I see the love and work you put into it. It looks really great. I do have a couple questions, maybe also a suggestion. Do you guys have like a help tab there where we can ask you guys questions or contact you if there's issues with the platform? I didn't see it.
There is no help to communicate. I think you have a standard email to reach out to MDE team. But if you need some guidance how this works, we provided these help buttons. As you see,
Okay, I
if
see
you
it.
want to
Okay.
know how this works, you can click on help button here, and you can see all the topics listed, how to schedule your inspection, how to add the forms. You can always refer these topics if you have any questions.
Okay, and then
Bala, may I add one thing? Sorry. Before you go on with your next question, Neil. We're currently working on an email to address those kinds of things, an email address specific to this. So it's just not up yet. Hopefully it will be available when we go live, but I can't guarantee that.
Sure.
In the meantime, you can send your emails to the mde.lppp@maryland.gov, basically the same one you send your inspection notifications to. We'll try to answer them as quickly as possible. But as you can imagine, we'll be inundated with emails and requests, so be patient, please.
Sure.
And go ahead with your second one.
You have two last questions. It's pretty quick. My computer crashed. I couldn't get the answer. If I have current issued certificates in my hands I need to fill out, do I use them when the system is up and running, or what do we do with the certificates I already have in hand?
So there's going to be a transition period where you will be allowed to use your inspection certificates. The cutoff dates have not been decided yet. And we are going to be issuing guidance as to when you should return any unused certificates. The one thing I will say that is after we go live and you decide that you're going to use the system, please do not send in paper certificates and system certificates. Do one or the other.
Perfect. I do have one last question. It's more for security. Today in this age, there is a lot of hacking, and by me putting in my social and company tax, whatever it is, the company, I am concerned about hacking and people getting that social. I know you have that information, but I'm not sure if it was just as available. So how are we addressing security here and keeping up with security? Personal.
So technically, as you see, no one can access this portal without proper identification. And as you have seen, once you create your profile, you can see only your information. So no one can access this without creating a profile and getting into the system. And system should also be able to identify or match you to show all your details. And if you have seen, there are few level of securities like asking for the OTPs. If you are trying to hack this and logging with some other system somewhere located, and that OTP is sent to your personal email. So even the hacker, they cannot access that OTP to get into the system from some other place or device. So OTP restriction is the reason why we added, so that no one can enter from any random device.
And just to add to that, Bala, we also have encrypted all the PII information, that's the personal identification information, whatever that is. It's all encrypted and stored in database in an encrypted manner. So even if someone came in to the database, they will not be able to decipher it.
Great, thank you, Sanjay, for that. Bala, we have about 1 minute left if you want to try and pick out another question to read
Yeah.
or answer. And we'll
Yes.
try to get some FAQs and get answers to these questions posted on our website at some point. We've had 4 webinars in a row now, so we're trying to catch up.
Right. So I'd like to address one thing. If multiple units will be tested, does each unit need to be scheduled individually? No, you don't need to do that. If all the units reside in a specific location, when you schedule that inspection, you will be looking at a record where the premise address is set as yes. So if an address has, say, 20 different units, so you just need to select the premise address. And once you select that premise address and complete your certificate, for appendix, as it is more applicable for Form E appendix, system will automatically list you all the units in the premise address, and you can select which units that certificate applies to. So you don't need to add separate inspection for each unit, like for if it is a lead-free applicable for 10 units or 5 units together at one location. So, but if it is an individual inspection for individual units, then if they are not linked together, you have to schedule separately.
I'd just like to add to that, Bala. It's important. The units will be listed if the person you're doing the inspection for has registered the units and put them in the system with the rental registration department. So it's going to be more important than ever to get your clients to contact MDE and make sure their registration is up to date and accurate.
And please refer this guide where I have mentioned how to add Form E and appendix where multiple units are involved. So please refer that manual and understand how to schedule and add Form E appendix. So
I just do have one more quick thing to add, Bala,
Yes.
before we make closing remarks. Same with inspection certificates. Once we go live, we're going to transition from the paper applications also. But if you decide to apply online, don't mail in an application also, and vice versa. If you mail an application in, we'll probably be reaching out to you to set up at least a profile though. So just keep that in mind. And if you've already mailed in an application, or you go to training in the next week or so and decide you're not ready, you're going to mail in an application, just don't go in and also add an application because it's going to want a fee.
I would like to take one question, Becky. I don't know if that is answered in any of the questions. Like, how do we request additional certificates from which should they be added in future? So that is not required anymore. I don't know if that is discussed or answered anymore.
I don't think it was discussed
Yeah.
or answered. Yes, in the new system, the certificate numbers will be automatically assigned by the system. And that's why, you know, everybody's individual profiles and business profiles, which are synonymous to the contractor accreditation that you have right now, must be linked so that, you know, everything matches up.
Thank you.
So you won't have to request inspection certificates anymore. They'll be available instantly once you complete the actual documentation that's required in the system. And now for closing remarks, Michelle, would you like to make a closing remark, or I'm not sure, is Shante still on?
I'd just like to thank everyone again for their interest and for, joining the training today. It really, shows a lot about how dedicated you guys are, that you're on the training. And, we're really looking forward to this online system. Hopefully it'll, make our world and your world a lot better and a little bit more cohesive. So there'll be more information to follow. So please make sure you guys are looking at your emails because we're going to be sending out some bulletins and letters in the U.S. mail shortly. If you have any questions, you can send them to the MDE LPPP address, email address. Becky, what is that? It's MDE. Yeah, you're on mute.
Sorry, yes.
You're right. Yes, MDE LPPP. Is it at maryland.gov?
say dot.
Yeah,
It's
mde.lppp@maryland.gov. So let me say that one more time. mde.lppp@maryland spelled out .gov.
But
Or
we
you
will
could,
be having a new email soon, hopefully.
yeah, we will.
That
One
is
that one.
specific to this system.
Yes, or you can guys can call us at the general number 410-537-3825, and there's a dedicated person on phone duty every day, and the call, get to the appropriate person.
All right.
And that's about all I have. Thank you guys very much.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for attending the session. And thanks, Vicky, Michelle, Kate. Thanks for helping us out. Have a good one and have a nice weekend.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Kate, Missy.